Hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. I know you're shocked to see that up there, but it's really true that Eric, he really did lose 45.3 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days. I know it's way out of the ballpark. You think we made it up. You think we're photoshopped it. We didn't do anything. This is really, really what happened. And I know it's shocking to people. Well, here's the thing I want to alert everybody to. This whole game about counting calories is essentially flawed, and here's why. If you go on a diet and you lower calories, which the human body can't count a calorie, really what you're doing on a diet, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. If you do that and you ignore nutrition, what your body will do, it'll go in starvation mode. And in starvation mode, what it does, it will stop fat burning and it will turn primarily to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain everything back on diets. So I know it sounds crazy. It's hard to believe that the guy on the left is the same guy as on the right 30 days later. We see this all the time. Now, granted, that's way up there in terms of what we see, but it's nothing to see women. I did a live yesterday, and we had a woman on. She lost, I think it was 21 pounds and almost 40 inches in a month. So you can do any diet you want, but when you look at this, imagine in 30 days you lost 45.3 pounds and 60 inches. Does that sound like something that's out of this world? I know that so many people struggle with this, but the preponderance of evidence now, starting with Harvard Medical School, really supports the premise that if you lower calories, you will lose weight. But it's the wrong kind of weight. It's really unhealthy. It's primarily your lean muscle mass. So let's see what they're saying here. Harvard Medical School. Let me put something in the chat for everybody to see. This is a free website that you can go to and you can actually see the medical proof. Okay. I don't want you to believe me, but I want you to hopefully believe the medical proof. So let me put that up there for everybody. Why didn't that post? Anyway, to make a long story short, let's start with the experts. Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard. Drop the calories notion. Stanford says it's time to take a different approach by improving the quantity of the nutrition and not and regardless of the calories. That's the key to this whole thing. Okay, I've been misquoted, misinterpreted, etc. So I'm gonna make the clean slate today. If you go on a diet and you lower calories and you ignore nutrition, you will lose weight. Do you know you can lose, I'm not making this up, you can lose weight on the Twinkies diet. Because here's the principle behind calories, why it's so ridiculous. Think about this. So let's use this example. Let's say we decided we're going to lower calories to lose weight. Let's pick a number. Let's say 2,000 calories a day. Okay? So if it only mattered about the quantity of the calorie, nothing to do with what's inside the calorie, then let's do 2,000, let's do two different diets. Diet number one is proteins, fats, carbs, salads, etc. Okay. Diet number two is still the same 2,000 calories. This is the argument you get all the time. And that 2,000 calories is what? 3 bags of M&Ms. Do you see the whole absurdity? It's really, get calories out of your mind for a moment because it's just a measurement. The thing that you want to understand is that we have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order to run the brain, the kidney, the liver, the heart, and all our organs, all right? When you go on a diet, think about it. When you lower the amount of food you're consuming, what else are you lowering by definition? You're lowering nutrition. Well, when the body senses it doesn't have enough nutrition, it goes in starvation mode, prevents you from burning fat, turns to your muscles for fuel, and you will lose weight, but the weight you're losing is your lean muscle mass, which slows your metabolism down. You come off the diet, you gain everything back. We have right over here, I'm holding in my hand 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies that were based on the principle of, okay, we can lower the amount of food, but they figured out a way to get other foods from around the world, not just from the United States, that had massive amounts of nutrition so they could fulfill the less amount of food quantity, but not less amount of quality. You need quality nutrition. So going on a diet by lowering the amount of food you're consuming and not lowering the amount of nutrition, that's what they did in these studies, which, by the way, these researchers, they don't have any products. They don't have a company. They don't sell anything. You don't buy anything from them. And, people have accused me of I have a commercial site where you can buy. There's nothing. If you go to that website, there's nothing to buy. There's nothing to see. There's no books. The only thing there is the medical proof for you to see for yourself. Now you can, January, I can't believe New Year's is in like about 8 days. And what's going to be the big New Year's resolution? Losing weight. But the study after study after study. Here's another one, an analysis of 80 weight loss clinical trials where they compared different methods of lowering calories. They said they found a diet focused on reducing calorie intake initially produced weight loss, but people's weight steadily came back to what they started. Because again, they're losing lean muscle. Does everyone get this? I get big pushback because people say, well, calories in, calories out is the only way to lose weight. No, that's not true. If you, first of all, get calories out of your mind. What are you doing? Let's talk about quantity of food, but also we need to talk about quality of the food. Like I said, you just go and eat 1,500 calories a day of Twinkies, you'll lose weight. But it's the most unhealthy weight you could ever lose, and you're going to gain it all back. Not my opinion. Another big study, they said why you shouldn't count calories. Well, counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term. The approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost because of the reasons I'm telling you. Anybody, put in the chat if you know Ivan or Fat Cat or any of you, a diet that you think works. You're all hooked on this diet mentality of counting calories, okay? Here's what we're saying. Count calories, you're going to lose weight, but you're losing unhealthy weight. If you want to improve your health, you can lower the amount of food and not lower the amount of nutrition. That's what they did in these studies. Now, how effective were they? In the first 7 days, men and women lost as much weight as people on these calorie-restricted diets in 2 months. They lost as much weight basically in a month. Look at this guy, 45.3 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days. You think we made that up? You think that's fake? It's not fake. I can tell you a little bit more about this. This was actually a radio contest where they gave out huge medical cash prizes. So they had to go to their doctors and get weighed and measure on the beginning and at the end. Because otherwise, people they weren't going to just trust them to hand him checks he was the winner. 30 days, 40, I know it's blowing your minds. Not possible. It's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast. No, it's not. Look at his physique. Look at how much he shrank. Because again, in the medical studies, they proved that in 8 weeks, people shrank their visceral, that belly fat, abdomen fat, waist fat by 33% in 8 weeks. By the way, no one is allowed to exercise. No, in the studies, it said sedentary. What they meant by that, people still went through their normal daily activities, but they didn't go to the gym and they didn't work out. They didn't want anybody to work out. I know I know it's so hard to believe. I mean, I was even cautious. I lost 60 pounds, but it took 1 year. Pilates 4 times a week, restrictive diet, and one. Yeah. So congratulations, Judith. Look at this man. I had a woman. I did a live yesterday, and she didn't have. I'd say she probably had, just to give you an idea, Judith. She probably had 40 pounds to lose. She lost almost 30 pounds in 30 days, and almost 30 inches off her body in 30 days. I mean, so again, congratulations on the 60 pounds, but you probably could have done that in 2 or 3 months and been feeling wonderful. And I promise you, unfortunately, no, Judith, you're wrong, okay? Judith, you're 100% wrong, okay? These studies were done by the top weight loss researchers in the world. That's not, if you were on a diet like what you did with Montgero, where you were reducing the amount of food you were consuming, your body used about 40% of your lean muscle as part of your weight loss. Do you know what all the studies say? This is where the dog water comes in with all this nonsense. The faster you can lose weight, the greater chance you keep it off forever. If you lose weight in the right way without losing lean muscle mass. Look, okay, well, you're just talking to me about the shot. Here's a huge study, New England Journal of Medicine on semaglutide. 68 weeks, you did better than they did. But in 68 weeks, they lost 32 pounds. In 68 weeks, right in the study in the appendix, 40% of what the people lost on the shot was lean muscle mass. That's the reality. You talk about unhealthy weight loss. Welcome to unhealthy weight loss. We get all this pushback, all this nonsense from people that want to argue. What's there to argue about? It's not about reducing the amount of calories. It's all about the nutrition. And what the researchers did, they were able to lower the quantity. That's what you did on Montgero. You ate less food, but you also were getting less nutrition. Because in case you didn't know, our food in this country is all but nutritionally bankrupt. Again, he lost 45 pounds in a month. What, are you kidding me? I mean, you're going to compare that, 60 pounds in a year? And look at how he shrank. And all his, if you click on there, you can see his medical numbers. His triglycerides in 30 days went down by 50%. This is not a diet. It's like nothing anybody's ever seen before. I appreciate your comments on them. Congratulations. But hold on. We'll see how long you're able to keep it off. I mean, unless you're going to stay on the shot forever. Because I'm working with people coming off the shots. They're gaining as much as a half a pound a day. And I'm not against the shots. That's the amazing thing. We're not. If they help diabetics and they help people that are morbidly obese, okay. But with every drug, there's always a side effect. You know that. Well, the side effect here, this is right in the medical report. 40% of what they're losing on the shots is lean muscle mass. Do you know when you lose lean muscle mass, the two most unhealthy things happen to you? One, it slows down your metabolism. That's why I hope you don't, but the chance of you gaining the weight are almost 100%. I got people that are coming off the shots are gaining a half a pound a day. Because again, what are you losing? You're losing, not my opinion. I mean, these people, 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. Well, you think I'm making this up? I have nothing against the shots. If people want to do the shots and it's going to help them, go for it. But don't try to compare that to this, because it's not even in the same zip code. And this is all natural. And him and everybody else, they weren't even allowed to exercise. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass in a month. But the other thing is keeping it off, okay? The people in the studies, they've now been monitoring them for 6 or 7 years. They've been able to keep the weight off now for 6 or 7 years. Heck, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. Took me longer than him, right? But I've kept it off for 22 years. You show me anybody in the shots keeping the weight off. It's not happening. It's good in the short run, no question. And also, we're seeing now, obviously, there are side effects, of course. But you've got to understand that a diet by lowering calories focuses on only one thing, reducing weight. But they ignore all the other metabolic factors that are being affected in the body. That's why if you go and look at his results, they're crazy. The changes in his body composition. See, that's what you want to concentrate on. If you're losing up to 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass, your body why do you think people end up with all that loose skin? You can go, we have a free website. Hold on just a second here. Hold on. Let me put it up there for everybody to see. This is a free website you all can go to if you want to. You can see right there, the new health conversation. Okay, so it's not healthy. Okay, what about loose skin? Okay, Judith, I hope I'm on the shot. I work out 4 to 5 times a week and gain muscle. Well, good, Judith. But I'm looking at New England Journal of Medicine. This is medical proof. People lost 40% of their lean muscle mass. It has nothing to do with exercising. Because exercise, do you know that exercise has never been proven to be a weight loss, effective weight loss, not medication, but process. This is what we're here just to make people aware. We don't, look, again, have you ever seen anything like that, Judah? 45 pounds, 60 inches. The inch is a result of what? Shrinking the fat. That's why he doesn't have any loose skin. He lost 60 inches from his neck to his ankles. There it is. Now, you can say you think we don't Photoshop anything. We don't make claims. We have the medical evidence. I wrote the darn best-selling book called Why Diets Are Failing Us back in 2010, and I made the point. Okay, why are we counting calories and ignoring what's in the calorie? That's the whole key to the whole darn thing. You absolutely lost weight. Congratulations. But I promise you, it's the most unhealthy way you could have. Do you know you also impaired your own immune system? Does that excite you? You've lowered your immune system's ability, and you don't have to believe me. My colleague, who I wrote this famous book, Your Third Brain, one of the top oncologists in the world, and a molecular biologist, you know, one of the absolute worst thing that can ever happen to a cancer patient is they lose weight. And the reason that's so critical is because what they're losing is lean muscle mass, which slows down your immune system. What are we doing to ourselves? All these trainers are coming on, calories in, calories out, only way to lose weight. No, calories in, calories out. If that's all you concentrate on is calories, you'll lose weight. But you can lose weight on the Twinkies diet. I'm not kidding. Because again, according to all these people, the number is what matters, the mathematics. Lower the amount of, but it's not even calories. The calorie is a measurement. It's not a real, no. What you're lowering is the amount of food you're consuming. And if that food is nutritionally bankrupt, which most of our food in this country is, in case you didn't know it, the body reacts to survive. It shuts down your fat burning ability and turns your, not an opinion on my part. Like I said, I got the New England Journal of Medicine study right here in my hand. I mean, they have no dog in this hunt. They're not for or against the shots. If anything, they're promoting the shots because they're saying that's really good. The people lost 32 pounds in a year. No, it wasn't a year, a year and 4 months. Wait a minute, this guy lost 45 pounds in 30 days. Now, I know a lot of you probably think, well, they photoshopped that. It's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast. Nonsense. All the studies now say the faster you can lose weight, the greater likelihood that you'll keep it off long term. Also, we know that all the longevity studies have said, if you can reduce the amount of food you're consuming and not reduce the amount of nutrition, you live longer. That's there. I mean, it's amazing to me that, I'm not saying you do, but other people, they come on and a lot of times they'll criticize the medical studies. Well, they're not trained in that. And what's ridiculous is I had a person, a health professional just a couple of days ago. Well, we read the New England Journal of Medicine study and there was nothing in there about 40% lean muscle mass. Well, that's because they didn't read the addendum. You don't just read the body of the study, you read the addendum, which is like 100, this is like 25 pages long, the initial study. Then there's addendum about 100 pages long with all the intricate details. They lost 40% of their lean muscle. It's not up for debate. That's what happened. And again, you're working, I congratulate you doing 4 or 5 times, you're working out a lot. That's nothing against that. But don't think working out is for cardiovascular. It's not for weight loss. And people, again, if you go to the website, you'll see people, Judith lost 100 pounds, no loose skin, men and women. That's all I can tell you. But look at him. Do you think, do you think we Photoshopped that? You could, I suppose. But we have a lot more. If you go to the website, you'll see a whole bunch more. Men and women, you'll see athletes, and the transformation in their body in 11 days is staggering. Staggering. So obviously athletes do this as well. But the other thing you're not dealing with, Judith, is this. Have you ever heard of the TDOS syndrome? Toxicity, driven by nutrition deficiency, overweight, and stress. I have it, you have it, every person in the world. No traditional diet, what you're doing, the shot, has any impact on removing chemicals from our body that we're storing inner visceral fat. That's where we're storing it. It's not an opinion on my part. Mount Sinai Medical School did the first study back in 2005 proving we were storing chemicals inside our visceral fat. That's why people complain all the time. It's not just that they're overweight, but how much fat they have in their body. We're evolving as a species to store chemicals in our bodies. These, the people want to come on and they want to jot. I don't know why they get mad at me, because I'm the researcher of the researchers. We're making you aware. We've given you a free website. Yes, of course it. Oh my God, does it work for women? I wish I had the poster from yesterday that I could show you. I don't have it. The lady who lost, maybe I have it. Let me see if I have it somewhere here. Do I have it? Hold on just one moment. I'd love to be able to show this to you. Hold on just a second. Let's see. Oh, I do have it, okay? Maybe you see this. Hold on just a second. Okay, this is gonna blow your mind, I think. Okay, Judith, can you see this? She lost 21.2 pounds and almost 40 inches in, look at this, in 30 days. That's 30 days, Judith. Look at that. Look at her stomach. She's not sucking it in. That doesn't happen on diets. Are you kidding me? And she basically lost in a month almost as much as they lost in 68 weeks on diets. This is for women. I mean, our biggest problem is we have something that's so unbelievable that we make them skeptical by showing them the real medical proof. Judith, have you ever seen anything like that? You ever seen anything like that? But we have all kinds of them like this. It's not a diet. Don't think it's a diet. It's not going on this. Is not even to lose the weight, which is there, etc. It's really to deal with this medical syndrome called TDOS. TDOS. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis in these studies and proved that this was helping to remove herbicides and pesticides, Scotch-Guard, and Teflon from your body. That's the main reason to do it. The weight loss part is that's the biggest bonus on the planet. But as you can see, I'm just adjusting my camera. Sorry about that. The weight loss is kind of the bonus. No diet's ever been shown to remove a gram of toxins from our body at all. Heck, we didn't even know we were storing chemicals in our body until 2005. This is not a diet. Judith or Stacy or Clyde, don't even think about doing this. Unless, because, okay, let me say something else. Please bear with me for just a moment, Judith. The protocol they invented, the researchers, it's called R2M. You know what that stands for? Race to maintenance. So Judith, what would happen is, and again, let me congratulate you on your weight loss. It doesn't matter how you did it, you're there. But here's the frightening thing for everybody. The frightening thing for everybody is that one study I read, while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short approach, it's never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. So the whole key here is if you lost the 60 pounds, you're at the end of the beginning. Now you start maintenance. The only reason to do, like myself, Judah, it took me 7 weeks. I lost 40 pounds 22 years ago. I've kept it off for 22 years. That should excite all of you. That's really the reason to do this. It's not that you can lose the weight initially. That's not even up for debate. But look at his transformation in 30 days. Are you kidding me? But we see it all the time. It's not a big deal. This isn't some anomaly. Yes, he was, I would say the average weight loss, if you want to be honest, is probably, women probably 20, 25 pounds, men, I'd say 30, 35 pounds in 30 days. With no loss of no water weight and gaining lean muscle mass. And what did he do? I'm going to explain it to you right now. Do you even understand the physiological mechanisms for weight loss? Oh, you're on here again. You're full of it. You're going to tell me about thermodynamics. Total nonsense. Thermodynamics does not apply to an open system, the human body. Total, utter nonsense. Don't give me this stuff about calories in, calories out. Yes, if you reduce calories, you will lose weight. But it's the most unhealthy weight on the planet. The difference in these well, look at that result. You're going to show me that on a diet, 45 pounds in 30 days? Show me. I'll laugh you out of the stadium. You got nothing like that on the planet. It's a joke. Calories in, calories out compared to this, it's like it's a joke. Because the key is nutrition. It's not about the amount of calories. It's not a calorie count. You could lose weight eating Twinkies. I explained that before. So let's say, okay, we're going to get an argument about calories here. Calories in, calories out, thermodynamics. Thermodynamics don't even apply. It's dog water, okay? Let's start with that. But let's just say we agreed, okay, we're going to go 2,000 calories. Behind door number one diet, steak, chicken, liver, fish, whatever, salads. 2,000. If it only matters about the calories, 2,000 calories diet number two, 3 bags of M&Ms. Do you understand from a body composition what the difference is going to be inside our body? Stop with the nonsense. It's nonsense. There's the result. There you go. You show me anything like that. It doesn't exist. These researchers, they're the top weight loss research physiologists in the world for 38 years. They've done all those stupid diets and this calories in, calories out thing, etc. People always lost weight, but they gained it all back just because I just read you for that study. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. That's what you need to know. Look at America. In 1964, we had about 10% of the population overweight and obese. Today, we've got 80% overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Some are going to argue and say, hey, yeah, this calories in, calories out thing is really working in the long run. It's a disaster. It's not even my words. Let's go to Johns Hopkins Medical School. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 5 years. Does that sound like calories in, calories out thermodynamics? It's working? That's nonsense. Nonsense. Again, show me anything like this. Now I'm going to explain to people what did the researchers do. First of all, they've done 38 years of research, hundreds, thousands of people on all diets across the board, lowering calories. Calories in, calories out. Well, people lost weight every time. We're not debating that. But when they did real scientific measurements about fat and muscle, up to 40% of what people were losing was their lean muscle mass. And all the people gained back all the weight every single time. So they knew that they had to do something different. It was a theory. Let me clear up something for everybody. They don't sell you anything. We don't sell you anything. They basically, what they said is, can we come up with a protocol where we reduce the amount of food people are consuming, but not reduce the amount of nutrition? Does everybody get that? That was the theory. They didn't know if it was going to work. And the way they accomplished it was only 30% of the food that people got was from North America, whole foods, organic, etc. Because in case you don't know it, our food in this country is becoming all but nutritionally bankrupt, okay? From a nutritional standpoint. So they allowed the people in the study to only have 30% of their food from the grocery store. You actually get a grocery list. But the other 5 foods, which the researchers don't sell, we don't sell, you buy directly from the suppliers who supply these 5 foods to the researchers that the researchers call the world's most perfect meals nutritionally. Has nothing to do with the quantity, has everything to do with the quality or the nutritional density. That's the thing I want to get across to all of you. That's why he has those results. If you're going to do that on a diet, show me. His stomach would be down at his knees. He lost 60 inches from his neck to his ankles. Hello? Show me anything like this on the planet. There's nothing like it, ever. These researchers know it. So those 5 foods, so now they had the recipe, they had the ingredients, right? 30% of the food from the grocery store, 70% from these foods from around the world. Then what did they do? They created 2 completely different ways of consuming the food. One was called protein pacing. And it didn't have to do with, people look at the studies and say, well, they overloaded on protein. You know what you're talking about. You didn't read the studies. That's not what they did at all. So 5 days a week, they had 4 meals a day. They started with the world's most perfect meal. That was for breakfast. Lunch came from the grocery list. 3rd meal from the grocery list. And a 4th meal, the world's most perfect meal at the end of the day. Then 2 days a week, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. What's that? Well, it was fasting, but with nutrition. See, people get all confused. They hear about intermittent fasting. That's when people don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8. Sometimes they eat one day and don't eat the next. No, this is with nutrition. This was fasting with nutrition. And what were the results? In the first 7 days, on day 8, men and women, when they weighed in, they'd lost as much weight in 7 days as they'd ever seen in diets in 8 weeks. Women lost a whole dress size. Men lost 2 to 4 inches off their waist. In a month's time, they lost no water weight and reduced their visceral fat, that's the fat around the organs, by about, in a month they increased their lean muscle 6 to 9%. In 8 weeks, they shrank the visceral fat, the fat around your organs, by 33%. No one was allowed to exercise. Don't get confused. If you go and read the study, it says sedentary. All they did was say, just have your normal activity. Don't go to the gym. We don't want you running. We don't want you doing any of that. They actually had them wear Fitbits to prove they weren't doing that. But they were living their lives. They were walking upstairs or, doing the laundry or whatever they were doing. That was fine. Because they had to isolate this. They had to say, would this work from a nutritional standpoint of view with no exercise? And it did. And there's your result right there. There you go. Now, I know a lot of my critics are going to say, oh, they photoshopped this. How the hell do they lose that much weight that fast? Nonsense. All the studies now say the faster you can lose weight, the greater chance you have to keep the weight off long term. I mean, I didn't say thermal. I asked you a question, answer. What do you want to know? Do I understand the physiological mechanism for weight loss? Yeah, I absolutely do. So what you're saying is you're reducing the amount of, forget calories. The human body doesn't know what a calorie is. I'm explaining to you. When you go on it, what the body has to run on is nutrition. It doesn't run on calories. It runs on nutrition. And when you go on a diet, you're lowering the amount of food you're consuming, which lowers the amount of nutrition. Yes, you will lose weight by lowering calories. But what kind of weight are you losing? Because all the studies show that the weight that people are losing by just lowering calories and ignoring nutrition, which is what they do, 40% of that is lean muscle mass. First of all, when the body figures out there's not enough nutrition, it goes in starvation mode to prevent you from burning fat and turns your muscles into fuel. That's what's going on. Of course I understand how it works. I've been doing this for 22 years. I've written 4 best-selling. I've been on PBS 20 different times. How many times have you been on PBS? I did 1,500 lectures all over the world in universities and medical schools. They even flew me to China. I know a little bit, but I'm not the expert. Let me be clear. I'm the researcher of the research. I'm bringing you the research. I just did a big interview with the #1 nutritional weight loss researcher in the world this morning. We went over all this pushback on calories in, calories out. We cleaned it all up. Again, look at the result. So you show me anything you've ever seen like that. 45 pounds in a month, 60 inches. Show it. I want to see it. And it's not photoshopped. Okay? So, okay, no. What kind of nutritional fast work and what foods? Okay, so Eva and Alon's asked me that. So what the researchers had figured out after 38 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, that all the diets they'd ever put people on, when they lowered the calories, people lost weight. That's not up for debate. Hell, they even said you could lose weight on the Coca-Cola diet because the body runs on a certain amount of fuel, okay? And the fuel from M&Ms is not the same fuel as from, like, let's just say, a grass-fed beef or hamburger, just to give you an extreme example there, right? So what they, on all these diets, they always, the only thing they focus on is weight, but they don't talk about body composition. Because when you analyze the body composition, especially the lean muscle mass, there's the Achilles heel to all these stupid diets. Now, what the researchers did was they figured out what is deficient from a quantity or a access point of view of nutrition to create the world's most perfect meals. Okay, so the first thing that you're deficient in, whether you know it or not, are what are called trace ionic minerals. That's not iron, calcium, magnesium. Things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and molybdenum. In the best organic whole foods you can buy at the grocery store, you get 20 of those minerals out of 70. So again, it doesn't matter how much you eat, you're still short 50, all right? Well, the first thing, the researchers found a source where it had all 70 of these minerals, number 2. The other thing that's critical are called the building blocks of life. Those are amino acids. Many of you have heard of them, but I don't think most people understand how important they are and what they really do. 9 are essential, meaning you have to get them from your diet. The other 11 are non-essential, okay? So how do we get amino acids? Amino acids we get from plant proteins or from animal proteins. So everybody's excited. I'm going to ingest 120 grams of protein a day. I'm getting 120 grams of protein. Nothing could be farther from the truth. In Europe, they developed through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, when you ingest protein from a plant protein or an animal protein, they can tell you what percentage, 0 to 100, are you getting to build human protein. We have 22,000 genes in our body. We make 22,000 different proteins every day. We don't make them with fats, we don't make them with carbs, and we don't make them with protein itself. All a protein is like the shell of a walnut. It encapsulates the amino acids inside that. And when you ingest the protein, plant or an animal, the body breaks it open, extracts the 20 amino acids. Now you think that's great, but what matters is what percentage from 0 to 100 are actually being used by the genes to recreate us. I hope everybody gets this, all right? So if you took a plant-based protein, the maximum absorption of amino acids is around 15% out of 100. Meats, I don't care if it's steak, chicken, liver, venison, swordfish, whatever, it's 30%. The researchers found a source where the absorption of the amino acids was 91%. Again, come back to what was their concept all through this. Could we lower the amount of food you were consuming, but not actually increase the nutrition? That's what they were doing. Third, they use these ingredients that are called adaptogens. They come from Manchuria. They don't come from Iowa. Those ingredients have been proven to lower stress and massively lower inflammation. Again, let's go to the medical studies. In 30 days, they measured inflammation. It came down 25% in a month. No diet has ever, see, they never do these kind of analysis. On diets, there's no impact on inflammation at all, okay? The fourth thing that they did, what we need, obviously, are vitamins. And the fact that many of you are going to tell me, well, I take a multivitamin. Well, the problem with that is 90% of all vitamins are synthetic, made in a laboratory. They're okay, but when we absorb them, again, the absorbability goes way down. They found a source that had all 21 naturally occurring vitamins. So the world's most perfect meal is based on nutrition. It's not based on amount. It's based on the quality. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Now, what I'm going to suggest you do, or not, it doesn't matter. We've set up a free medical website. We set up a medical website. Let me give you this. Hold on just a second. Why is it not posting, folks? I don't know. Control V. Okay, there you go. The new health conversation. It's true. I'm losing. Diane Hooley. What kind of new? Okay, I went over that with you, Ava. It's fasting with this nutrition because, oh, no, I didn't tell you the best part. I'm sorry. So 5 days a week, you do this protein pacing where you're going to have 4 meals a day. World's most perfect meal, no food from the grocery store for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, third meal from the grocery store, fourth meal, the world's most perfect meal. Then the 2 days a week when you do intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting, okay? On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these 5 foods, the world's most perfect meals, 4 times a day, about every 3 hours, okay? Look at the results. That's all I can tell you. And that's nothing. You go to the website, there's way more than there. And it's not just the pounds and inches that they're losing. Wait till you see the medical results, their triglycerides, their blood pressure, all this crazy numbers. Again, we're not arguing the fact that if you lower your calories, you're going to lose weight. But that's the only thing. And it's the most unhealthy weight you could ever lose. Not an opinion. I mean, here's a big study in here done in the New England Journal of Medicine. They did a 12-month study on people lowering calories, calories in, calories out. The other group did this time-restricted eating where you don't eat for 16 hours, you eat for 8. After 12 months, the people who just lowered calories in a year lost 16 pounds. In a year. And those doing time-restricted eating lost even worse, 12.6 pounds in a year. And they said both those doing the calorie-restricted diet and those doing time-restricted eating, they lost up to 40% of their lean muscle mass. Wait a minute, 16 pounds in a year, or I like the, now granted, but it's not it's not unusual at all. And he didn't have, I mean, he didn't have that much weight to lose. Maybe, I don't know, he probably had 60 pounds, 50 pounds. Look what he's done in 30 days. Do you get it? I mean, again, I want, like I said, I'd love anybody to show me anything like this. From calories in, calories out. I know we're really shaking the trees because people get so upset with me. All I'm doing is showing you the research. And then the people reading the research, they come back with this crazy, we went over all this morning about, people looking at the studies and they're not qualified to look at them. They're giving an opinion. Like when people came on and said, well, in the New England Journal of Medicine study, they didn't lose 40% of the lean muscle mass. They didn't read the damn appendix. They read the first part of the journal, which is, of the study is like 10 pages. It's like a synopsis. The real details are in the appendix. The same thing when people came on and looked at one of the journals that was, these big studies were published in the Obesity Journal. The Obesity Journal is the journal of the Obesity Society of the entire world. It's a really big deal. And in the studies, again, it showed they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, but it wasn't in the main study, it was in the appendix. So it's not, again, I just say this. Anybody out there show me anything like that? What would it be? And we're going to bring more. We're going to show you more and more. We're not making any claims. These are real. And this person was part of a radio contest because really they had to do their blood work, their A1C, their cholesterol, their triglycerides, et cetera. You don't see those right here. If you click on that, it'll show you the breakdown of the other. I mean, I think his triglycerides went from like 200 and something to like 100 in like 30 days. The reason to do this is not to lose weight. And you can see he changed it. Look at his body composition, how it's changed. I mean, ladies, how about losing a dress size in 7 days with no exercise? Now, they're not against exercise. So whoever it was before, when you tell me you're working out 5 days a week, that's great. You do even better. They're not, the researchers weren't against exercise, but they had to eliminate it because how would they know what would this do for people that maybe don't have the luxury of working out or going to the gym, or they just choose not to? So obviously, if you go to the gym and work out, it's even better. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so Diana, are you saying you're on the protocol? I'm not sure. Allo settlement, researcher, what is the okay, so not to Chevy, Eva. Did I answer your question? If not, put it in the chat. I'll expand on it. But the whole key to this whole thing is for you to be able to go to that website for free. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation. We won't contact you if you go there. I want all of you to know that. We don't do that. We don't need to. We don't need to waste our time. Not when we have things like that. And an interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world who goes over all this and says, they as a group, for 38 years, they've been chasing the silver bullet for obesity. They said they found it, and now they have the proof. I mean, people come on and they say, well, it's about calorie reduction. No, it's not. I mean, in one sense, yeah. But you've got to understand, they don't look at it that way. They looked at it in terms of, we're lowering the quantity of food, but we're not lowering the amount of nutrition. That's what makes it work. So if you tried to do this with regular food, it would never work because, listen, sadly, Cornell University did a study on spinach. Let me hear this. From 1953 to today, they measured iron levels. They've said that they believe the iron levels in spinach from 1953 to today, they've gone down, you ready for this? By 4,300%. So this whole argument about eating whole foods, nothing wrong with that to a point. But if you think you're going to go down to your local farmer's market, organic, and get what you need to maximize your health potential, good luck. That's what I would say. And again, what are you doing about the TDOS syndrome? Any of you? T for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, S for stress. Registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. This is a medical condition. You have it, I have it, every person on the planet has it. And in the studies they did, blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, and proved this was assisting the body in removing herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon. All these chemicals we're storing inside of us. We can't avoid it. If you're breathing, if you're drinking, you're eating, you're getting chemicals. Did you all see the thing on Starbucks coffee about 3 months ago where one cup, you're getting about 25,000 microplastics in every cup of Starbucks? I like Starbucks. I'm not so sure I like the idea of the plastic in my body. The main reason to do this is not to lose weight. I'm going to tell you that right away. Now, because this is so new, relatively speaking, so I discovered the TDOS syndrome after Mount Sinai Medical School in New York had proven that we're storing chemicals in our body. I suspected it, but there was no proof. Now there is. Now, 19 years later, there's all kinds of studies that have been done on these chemicals and what they're doing to us. Please pay attention or not. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports the rise in the incidence of obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. They call these chemicals obesogens. Obesogens, simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds found in soy, artificial hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed on our produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. So I would ask you, what diet, sorry about that. What diet are you going on to help your body get rid of chemicals you're storing inside of you? Now, there's more than just that. This is Frederick von Saal, PhD, professor of biological sciences, University of Missouri, Columbia. Obesogens are hijacking the regulatory system that controls your body weight. This presence of obesogens is the first reason that traditional dieting methods have become outdated. Never before have traditional low-carbohydrate, low-calorie diets been forced to accommodate for this level of synthetic chemicals and the adverse effects they have on the body. The body's attempt to protect itself from the constant assault of synthetic toxins results in the production and storage of fat. There you go. Now you'll begin to get the reason why people complain. It's not just how much weight they have, but how much fat they have in their body. Diets, no, they've never done anything. Nothing, zero. Again, people go on diets just to lose weight. Ignore body composition and certainly ignore their health. If you can go, this program is based on getting your weight off in the healthiest way, in the fastest way ever seen on planet Earth. I mean, 45 pounds in 30 days and 60 inches, you know? Let's see. Ava, grocery store. I need that book. No, you don't have to buy the book, Ava. You can go to the website for free. Well, here, let me see. Let me give it to you here. And the reason you want to go to the website is you want to see the medical proof. We're not here to convince you or whatever. If you like what you see, okay, if you like what you see, then you can scroll down and you can sign up for a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. I forgot to mention that. The coaches are completely free. They've done the protocol and they're trained to explain to you any other questions you might have. They also can show you, see, 30% of the food you're going to buy comes from your grocery store. You'll get a list from the coaches. The other thing is that there are 5 foods that come from around the world, from Russia, from Mongolia, from Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that you will buy directly from the suppliers. The coaches show you how to order directly from them. You're not ordering from the researchers who created this. You're not ordering from us. You're not ordering from the coach. And by the way, the coaching, Eva, not just the initial consultation, but that coach will be your coach the whole time you're doing this. Okay? Because the whole key here is to get you to your goal, whatever that is, and then you're at the end of the beginning. Because this really starts, it's called R2M, race to maintenance. It really starts once you get to your goal to teach you how to keep the weight off for the rest of your life. I mean, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 22 years ago. I've kept it off for 22 years. I would think that would be of real interest to everybody, because all these diet studies are showing that the problem with all these diets is while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to counter restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. Another study, this time this study was of 80 different studies. They said they examined 80 weight loss clinical trials. the researchers compared different types of calorie-lowering diets. They found that a diet that focused on reducing calorie intake produced weight loss initially, but people's weight steadily came back to what it was when they started, and most people, or many people, went above. That's 80 studies. I mean, you can hold on to whatever belief you can believe, these trainers, you can believe, all due respect, trainers, doctors, chiropractors, nutritionists. But here's a simple question for all of you. If in 1964, 10% of America was overweight and obese, and 61 years later in 2020, 64, it's 24, so 60 years later, we're at 80% overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. I mean, I'd love for anybody to put in the chat, how long do you think it would take you to lose, like that guy, if he went on a regular diet, how long would it take him to lose 45 pounds? And I guarantee you wouldn't be losing 60 inches. Look at the photographs of people losing that kind of weight and see how they'll lose skin. If you go to the website, you're going to see more before and afters like that, and you'll see people lost 100 pounds, they have no loose skin. I know it's hard to believe, but on this protocol, people are not losing lean muscle. Their fat is shrinking. Again, I'd love for anybody to put a comment in the chat down there. I'm happy to accommodate or answer any questions that you might have. Hi, Betty. Hi, Julie. Hello, Debbie. Look, we had one. I just showed it a minute ago. Let me just show you. This young woman, okay, not photoshopped at all, okay? This is exactly 30 days. Hopefully you can see that. 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches. Look at her stomach area. That's not being held in. That's in 30 days. You ever seen anything like that? Go on a diet, lose a pound. I mean, that would take you like 4 months. I mean, it's just, it's silly. We see it all the time, and it's not an anomaly. If you go to the website, there's even more before and after pictures of women who lost like 100 pounds with no loose skin. We don't have to make up anything. We're not making claims. I know this shakes everybody up. They want to take me on. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Really? Wait a minute. When you have 10 peer-reviewed studies published in some of the biggest medical journals in the world, it has nothing to do with me. It's not an opinion on my part. It's fact. It's what's called irrefutable evidence. What you have to understand with these studies, it's not like the researchers just go and they do a study on weight loss and they submit it to something like the obesity journal, and the obesity journal says, oh, we're going to publish this. That's not how it works. You go through a strict scrutiny as you go through the protocol. I'm sorry, as you submit your work, whether they're going to publish it or not. And then if they do decide they're going to publish it, the obesity journal or any of these journals, they don't do the analysis. They send it out to other world-class experts, medical doctors and scientists who go over your data. And you know what their one job is? To prove what you're claiming is fake. That's why it's such a big deal. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial on humans, not mice or rats. And again, all I would say is, if you're just joining in, if 80% of Americans are overweight and 50% are obese and 50% are pre-diabetic, do you think any of these influences that you see online are actually, they have anything that works? What would it be? I mean, what would it be? What would it be to produce that kind of result for that person right there? And don't give me this, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight, that fat. That's a wives' tale. On a diet, it would be, well, first on a diet, you couldn't even do that. It wouldn't even happen. But yes, because they know that on diets, you lose more than about a pound a week, and you're losing mostly up to 40% of your lean muscle mass, which slows your metabolism down. You come off the diet, you gain everything back. That's what they said in the studies. Well, counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, but it's never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who lower or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. What are you doing? And why are you doing it? I don't know. That's up to you. All I know is except the mRNA shots, Michelle. I'm pre-diabetic too severe. I can't lose weight no matter what I do. Okay, Mike. Thanks for the comment, Mike. Let me share with you. The chemist who invented this about 25 years ago, the early stages, was a diabetic. So it was originally intended for him as a diabetic. And he'd done over 2,500 formulas for over 650 companies around the world. He died a few years ago. Anyway, so we've had great success with diabetics. Now, one of the things that we would do up to you. If you go to the website, you like what you see, you scroll down, sign up for a free consultation, just put in the note that I'm a diabetic. Then we'll get you a coach who specializes with diabetics. But here's something that should really excite you. Listen to this, Mike. In the Mr. Magoo, I'll explain that to you in just a moment. So what is your plan, Michelle Smith? I promise I'll tell you, it's not my plan. Let's get that out of the way. It's not my plan, okay? But I want to answer Mike's question first. In the studies, Mike, in 30 days, the medical doctors, they had diabetics that were on, glucophage, metformin, or insulin, right? Now, as you probably know, if you are taking a medication, I don't know if you are or not, the medication will drive down the blood sugar. That's a great thing. That's why I say, hey, thank God we have these drugs, right? But in every case, when you use those drugs, it pushes insulin up. And when insulin goes up in your body, it causes your body to store fat. That's why you're having such a terrible time losing weight. In the studies, Mike, you can go and see it. Blood sugar came down 10 points, not 10%, big difference in a month. But for the first time ever, insulin came down, Mike, 41% in 30 days. Okay? So now let's see who else. Michelle Smith. So what is your plan? Okay, not my plan. This protocol was invented. Did you see this, by the way, Michelle? This is 30 days. She lost 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches in a month. That's not Photoshop. That's real. And she didn't suck in her stomach. That's how much she lost, almost 40 inches off her body in a month. So that's what we're talking about. It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition researchers in the world. To give you an idea, they rate researchers, okay? A really good one gets a score of 30, okay? These researchers are the top researcher. You know what his score is? 46. He's the top person in the world, in the whole world. They invented this. Now, they've done 38 years of studies on diets. And here's what they learned, and here's how it works. A diet, counting calories, is ridiculous when you ignore nutrition. Because your body needs a minimum amount of nutrition in order for the brain and all the organs to work. When you go on a diet, you're lowering the amount of food. Forget the calories for a moment. And when you do that, you're also lowering nutrition, which triggers the starvation mode in the body, forces your body to stop burning fat and converts your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. So here was the theory. Could these researchers lower the amount of food that people consumed, but not lower the amount of nutrition? It was a theory. So here's how they did it, or here's what the theory was. They only let people in the studies have 30% of their food, whole foods, from sources in the United States and North America. The other 70% came from 5 food groups from around the world that the researchers don't sell, we don't sell, but those foods were used in the studies, and they're 5 foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and those 5 foods made what the researchers call the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. Forget calories. Had nothing to do with quantity, had everything to do with quality. So now you've got the ingredients, 30%, and you'd get a grocery list. We have free coaching. We give you the grocery list. Go buy at the store. And what happened is they had the people start, and they created 2 new ways of consuming, this is what they did. 5 days a week, they did something called protein pacing. What the heck is that? 5 days a week, listen to this. They had 4 meals, Michelle, 4 meals a day. They started the day with the world's most perfect meal. Lunch came from the grocery list that you would have. A 3rd meal from the grocery list. And a 4th meal, the world's most perfect meal. You do that 5 days a week. 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not intermittent fasting, okay, which is you don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8. There's other variations. This one, you're fasting nutritionally. What were the results? Michelle, after 7 days, on day 8, when men and women measured, they had lost as much weight as anybody lost in 8 weeks of dieting. In a week, okay? Women lost a whole dress size in a week. Men lost 2 to 4 inches off their waist. Then moving forward in a month, they were losing as much weight as people lost in a year on diet. Look at this result. He lost 45 pounds, 60 inches in that's 30 days, not 30 weeks. There's nothing like this on the planet. It's not a diet. And Michelle, what we do for you, we have a free website that you can go to, and you can see all the medical proof, because we don't want to have to convince you or anybody of anything. We want you to see the medical proof. And if you go there and you like what you see, there's the website, The New Health Conversation. If you go there, Michelle, we won't contact you. I promise you. We're too busy. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and sign up for a free personal consultation with a coach who's done the protocols, been trained, not somebody an 800 number that's reading off a script. That's not what we do. Because we have we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have people that are 90. We have a man with a heart transplant. We got people with no thyroids. I mean, kidney transplant. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical proclamations whatsoever. But the reason we do personal consultations is this is a little bit complicated. There's no doubt about it. But how long any of you, put it in the chat. How long would you say on a diet based on what you know, 45 pounds, how long would it normally take people? I don't think it's 30 days. So Michelle, does that answer your question? Is there more that I can expand on that? And for Mike or any of you, and Mr. Magoo, hopefully I answered that question for you as well. Look, let me support all of you. You're totally skeptical. I get it. But the difference is that these peer-reviewed human trial studies, like there was a fitness trainer that was telling me about, well, you know, we have peer-reviewed studies on calories in, calories out, wonderful results. 6 months, 12 pounds. Really? But that's what we see in these big studies. This one, New England Journal of Medicine, 12 months, one group lowered calories and the other group did time-restricted eating. After 12 months, the weight loss for those lowering calories was 16 pounds, and those doing time-restricted eating was 12.6 pounds. That's in a year. And they said both those doing calorie reduction and those doing time-restricted eating lost up to 40% of their lean muscle, and as a result, they all gained back all their weight. I mean, look, just be open for a moment. Let's go again to this extreme calorie nonsense. They're telling you that it's a math equation. You want to lower the amount of calories. Okay, so let's do an example. Let's say we landed on 2,000 calories. We just picked a number. So we got 2 diets that were going to equal exactly 2,000 calories. They were totally the same, except the ingredients were totally different. Behind door number 1 is lean chicken, fish, salads, vegetables, 2,000 calories. Behind door number 2 is 2,000 calories of what? M&Ms. I'm serious. You can lose weight on the Coca-Cola diet just by lowering calories. No question. But you're doing one of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself, because your body doesn't even know what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. What it counts is nutrition. And all a diet is lowering the amount of food you're consuming, which does what? Lowers the amount of nutrition. When the brain senses there's not enough nutrition, it goes in starvation mode, prevents you from burning fat, converts your muscles into carbohydrates for fuel to run your organs, but there's not enough to go around, so the body slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on these stupid diets, and that's why you come off. That's why they're saying 2/3 of people gain back more weight than they lost. This is not my opinion. This is now the medical world saying, wait a minute, something's wrong here. How do we go from 1964 to 10% of the population overweight and obese to 2024? It's 80% overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Does anyone think that works diet-wise? You should see his medical numbers. His triglycerides came down 50% in a month. I mean, hello? That's the reason to do this. You can lose weight for a diet. It'll be a number on the scale. It has nothing to do with the reconstruction of your body composition inside you. The people in these studies gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, weren't even allowed to exercise, and yet they lost as much weight in a month as a year on diets, pretty much. I mean, again, 45 pounds. There's a big study, New England Journal of Medicine, on the shots, and I'm not against the shots. It's the semaglutide. 68 weeks. 68 weeks. The weight loss was 32 pounds. And up to 40, right in the study, up to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. Wait a minute. Am I reading that right? This guy lost 45.3 pounds in 60 inches in 30 days. I mean, really? No, probably a lot of you think they photoshopped that. That's not real. No, it's real. And go to the website. There's more of those there. But more importantly, it's an interview with, this is the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He doesn't have any products to sell. He doesn't have a company. They're scientists. I mean, he's regarded as the top, the creme de la creme, all right? So a lot of times I know, people want to come on and they want to interpret things and make, they make comments, but they don't understand this level of scrutiny. He's been at this for almost 40 years. I get, especially, trainers want to come on and give their opinion. That's all good. I don't have anything wrong with that. But show me anything like this. And that's all I can tell you. I mean, that's all I can say, is that we're now in a position where you can completely change Julie or Sophia, or obviously Michelle. Do you want to change the rest of your life? I mean, let me ask you, all this ladies on here, okay? So hopefully you can see that. I'm bringing it as close as I can. She lost 21.2 pounds and 38.75 inches in 30 days. Look at the stomach area. Look at the before and after on the right hand. I don't know if it's your right or your left, but look at the stomach area, how much it went down. She can't hold it in that much. There's just nothing like this. And I know it makes people's heads spin because they want to give me this nonsense about unhealthy to lose that much weight. Yeah, on a diet it would be. But how would any of you, she didn't have, I don't know, maybe she had, I'm just guessing, but I'd say 35 or 40 pounds to lose, and she lost, if it was 40 pounds, she lost half of what you need to lose just in 30 days. When was the last time anybody on this? When was the last time you lost 21 pounds in whatever time frame? Well, we just saw in the New England Journal of Medicine, it took them 68 weeks to lose 32 pounds. And they said, this is really good. And I'm not against the shots. It's helping diabetics. It's helping those that are morbidly obese. But compared to that, what you're seeing on the screen, you take a swing at it. Let's see. So who else would, Julie or anybody else, would you like to ask me a question? Because I'm more than happy. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh boy, sorry. I'm human. That's why you know it's real. This isn't pre-recorded. Well, it couldn't be. How would I be corresponding back and forth with, the nice people that are on here? So do any of you have any questions for me? Because we've been right at about an hour. It's now 1:30 on the East Coast. I'm going to probably do another one just to let everybody know. Maybe you can invite a friend, or maybe you want to come back. It's 1:30, probably no later than 2:30 Eastern time today. So depending where you are, I'm happy to jump at what foods are permitted exactly. Michelle, it's a whole list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables. It's a really long list, obviously organic, But the coat that you get a list. The list was developed by these researchers. What you're going to end up doing, Michelle, is exactly what they did in the medical trials. Why would you do anything different than that? Do you again, Michelle, if you don't mind, look at his result. How long would you think on a diet that you know about, that you've been accustomed to or seen? How long would it take someone to lose 45 pounds, let alone 60 inches? Seriously, tell me. Any of you, I'd love for you to tell me what you think. Because I guarantee it's not 30 days. So yeah, Michelle, the reason to do the free personal analysis with the coaches is they go over all that with you. It's hard for me because, again, it's individualized, and most people, and I don't blame them, I don't want them sharing their personal information on the website. That doesn't make any sense. So we're in a position where you can go over, because we don't know. Maybe you're on medication. What if you want to gain weight? And Michelle, like I said, we have kids as young as 2. We have people that are we have a lady that's 90. We have a man with a heart transplant. I mean, it's all over the board, and we don't think it's fair to people to just give you like, oh, here's a list, check off. This isn't about giving you a recipe. It's completely different. You've never done anything like this. It's not a diet. It doesn't work anything like a diet. It's totally different than that. And the thing that's so exciting about it is that you have an opportunity to hit the reset button for the rest of your life. Because keep in mind, Michelle, it's not about I don't even know if you want to lose weight, but let's just say whatever the number is, you hit your goal. You're at the end of the beginning. That's when this starts. The whole key to it is R2M, stands for race to maintenance. Notice maintenance is the last thing. Maintenance is the most important part. Why would you do this unless you want to go in the diet trap here? Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to counter restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. Does that sound exciting, Michelle? Look, how else could we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic if any of these diets work? Go to Barnes & Noble, look at how many diets there are. It'll make your head spin. It's up to all of you. But the main reason to do this is not even to lose weight. It's to deal with do your best to combat the TDOS syndrome, which I have and you have and every person on the planet. T for toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. It's a real medical condition. You all have it. You can't not have it. No diet's ever been, these researchers did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, proof this was helping the body get rid of toxins, these obesogens, these chemicals that we are storing inside of us. I mean, unless you think that's a good idea, and no diet has ever touched this, has ever come close to what we're talking about. I tell people all the time, don't even do this to lose weight. It's like a joke. We know that's going to happen. Our goal is to get you to your goal and then show you how to stay there for the rest of your life. I mean, I know you have to. A lot of you have had to tried everything. I hear it all the time in the comments. But again, I've asked everybody, show me any diet you've ever seen where somebody lost 45 pounds and 60 inches in a month. And there are people who lost more than that, believe it or not. I'm afraid to post those because this is like, it's crazy enough. Okay, Julie, what does it cost? 30%. So let's start at zero. You got to buy food for January, let's say. Okay. So if you took whatever you're spending on food now, take only 30% of it, you will buy from the grocery store, Whole Foods or whatever you're doing, right? The other 70% of the food you buy are from these 5 foods from around the world. Okay. Most people tell me that when they look at reducing the amount of food they're buying from the grocery store down to like 30%, that the other 70%, when they get the total amount they spend on food, it's about what they're spending now, maybe a little bit more. So it's not like you're buying all the food you're buying now and then this is on top of it. Because this isn't a lotion, potion, pill, supplement, capsule. It doesn't work like that. It's food. That's what you got to get in your mind. Only this food that you can't, I mean, these foods in a sense were engineered, not processed. Engineered in the sense that they put these combinations together to create the world's most perfect meal from a nutritional standpoint. Nothing to do with calories, nonsense. Nothing to do with quantity, but to do with quality. And there's the result. So Julie, I would say normally what people tell me is that they're pretty shocked. Now, let me tell you something else, Julie. When people go on maintenance, they're telling me they're saving 25 or 30% of what they were spending. Because Julie, in the first 30 days, so I didn't mention this to everybody, hunger came down 41%. So so their cravings went out. So they weren't, even when they came off this, when they were in maintenance, they weren't so, I mean, maybe they still had pizza, but instead of having 3 pieces, maybe they had 2. But it's not a diet. It doesn't work like that. And once your body kind of gets used to it, wow. Like I said, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 22 years ago. I've kept it up for 22 years. Does that sound pretty exciting? So again, who else would like to, Julie, or Julie did ask me a question. Michelle, I hope I answered all your questions. Does anybody else have any more questions for me? All right, well, the last thing, again, I would encourage you, Julie, or anybody else, Julie, you can go to the website. It's right above your name there, the New Health Conversation, and see all the medical proof. And if you like what you see, scroll down and sign up for a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. The coaches have done the protocol. They've helped lots of people, 100 or more. And the coaching's free the whole time, not just your initial consultation. And you're buying nothing from the researchers or from us. 30% you're going to spend at the grocery store, the other 70% from these 5 foods. And the coaches will show you basically how to set up your own wholesale account, sort of like Costco. That's the best way to think about it. But you're buying directly from them. You're not buying from us, okay? Michelle, thank you very much for listening. And I hope, Michelle, give yourself an early Christmas present and go to that website. I tell everybody, everybody deserves. Don't you deserve to live the best possible quality of life that's possible? I mean, right now, you're probably running on 25 or 30% of what's possible because our food in this country is so nutritionally bankrupt. And now you go on a diet and lower the amount of food, lowering the amount of nutrition. That's why you're tired. That's why people don't have any energy. That's why they can't sleep at night. That's why all of these things. My God, inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease out there, it went down 25% in a month. No diet's ever produced anything like that. So then what are you getting from then what are you getting from this? Julia, what am I getting from it? Well, I've written 4 best-selling books that are still on the market that are selling. I am not the one that would benefit from it, okay? The coaches can, because really the companies that supply, they offer, what are they called? they give them referral bonuses, just like if you went to Capital One or whatever, they give you a referral bonus. So the coaches are the ones that make the referral bonuses. But that's why the coaching's free, okay? Pretty good deal as far as I'm concerned, but that's up to you. But again, look at the results you're going to get. Oh, yeah, of course they get some money. Yeah, of course. What, you think they're, I mean, just out of the goodness of their heart, would you expect them to do that? I mean, if you go to a doctor, does he give you, what are you buying from your doctor? Think about it. Knowledge, right? That's what you're buying. That's why you go to a doctor. So you're going to them, only you're not paying them, okay? So it's pretty fair. I mean, you got to understand they're available to you like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, it's really pretty amazing what we're doing. And people want to do it. I mean, for many of them, it's not obviously a full-time occupation, et cetera, but they love helping other people. And that becomes, I mean, why shouldn't they be rewarded? I mean, they're really putting in time and effort on your behalf. So anybody else? Thank you, Julie. Those are really good questions. Okay, sent to, I'm not sure. Okay, so everybody listen, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Like I said, I'll probably do another one. It's now 1:45, it's 1:45. Yeah, 1:45 on the East Coast. So I'll probably do one maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock today. Okay, so everybody have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope this has been helpful. And again, one last time, I'm going to put the website down at the bottom. I urge you to go to the new health conversation. You can see it there and schedule a free personal consultation. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, and Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever other celebrations are going on right now.